Many marketers believe that mass media like TV, radio are all sunset industries. I prefer to think that it is mass communications that is passé or has evolved. So, should you shift all your budgets and attention to digital solely? Oh, and if you are still studying mass communication degree or diploma or have just graduated with one, make sure you continue watching so that you can find out how you can still stay relevant.
Ready to level up your content marketing strategies? This is Level Up Content Play with Rio Leong.
Hi, this is Rio and welcome to the show where I help you to make sense of digital and content marketing strategy. Mass media as we know it, like TV and radio, are in sunset industries, so to speak. However, if we look at it, surely it is the concept of mass communication that is getting or has gotten passé. If that is the case, how should we then approach advertising or public relations? It seems like history can tell us some answers. Mass communications is simply having one message but communicating to the masses, to everybody. When Edward Bernays used the concept of propaganda and applied it to consumer marketing, he created what we call public relations today. And he relied heavily on mass media, the tools or platforms, to give him the reach so that he can get his messages to the masses and also attain the authenticity for the mass markets. For example, in helping Lucky Strike sell cigarettes to women in the past, Edward Bernays arranged for some young and confident women to walk down the Easter Sunday parade in New York, puffing away what he publicized as torches of freedom. So by sending this description and story to the mass media, he transformed the taboo for women smoking into something that is a symbol of freedom for women at that point in time. The key for his success lies in his ability to control and manipulate the media for his intended message, for the prescribed imagery. Since it was an era where there are few sources of information, the consistency of the message and the believability is very high. Similarly, for advertising, mass media has worked over the years because it provided the reach to the mass market effectively. And at the same time, once again, given the limited sources of information, it allowed brands to have a clear and singular message to convince the consumers to buy their products. So what has changed? Well, the internet has democratized information, so to speak. Social media has made it almost impossible for a brand to dictate the imagery that is being presented to the market. Anybody with a social media account essentially can create a so-called channel in the media platform to allow them to voice their displeasure when they have a lousy service, for example. It also means that they are able to create an imagery that differs from your script, so to speak, when they feel that they have not been able to receive that kind of service or the kind of quality of the product that your script says. So that means that there are now many multiple sources of information informing the masses. With so many different sources of information, it is difficult, if not impossible, to communicate with the masses with a singular message, which is what mass communications is all about in the first place. That is why I say mass comm is passé. Well, is it the end of mass media then? Well, not exactly. TV, radio, press are still very powerful media. They can still reach a substantial amount of audience. It's just that we should not treat them as the mass media of old and think that we can just use one particular mass media platform and reach your entire group of audience. Because we know that the audience now have multiple sources of information and they can get information from different sources such as the digital or internet or social media. what we should do is to look at traditional media like TV, radio, etc. as just one of the multiple options that we have. We have to look instead as mass customized communications now instead of just mass communication. We need to customize the way we communicate with the mass audience using multiple tools and multiple platforms. Also, I've not talked about how content on traditional media can cross over to the digital platforms as well. So what if you are a mass comm graduate or are still studying a mass comm degree or diploma? Well, don't fret. The tools have changed definitely, or the methods of using these tools have changed definitely. But the concept of using them has not changed. And it is definitely more complex and challenging to be communicating to the masses now. But it is also a lot more exciting and less exclusive because the tools are no longer controlled by just a small number of mass media brands. The field is open to anyone who can understand and use the new tools and methods and use it well to convince his or her community to act according to the script that you have. So just understand that concept remains, but the methods have changed or the tools have changed.
The key takeaways.
Number one, mass communications relies on the ability to send a singular message through the mass media to reach the masses. With the advent of the internet and social media, it is now impossible to have full control. Number two, mass media usage should evolve instead of ceased, as they are still powerful platforms on their own. And number three, with multiple platforms available, we have to think of mass customized communications instead of the regular mass communications. So let me know if what I've shared makes sense, or drop a comment below so that I will know whether I'm on the right track. Or in fact, you can also let me know what other topics or what areas you are interested in so that I can create more content for you. Alright, so see you next time.